EBT cruises, inside the disturbing decline of Carnival and why it's being called the Walmart of the sea. Scope News investigative report. Miami, Florida. The footage looked like something out of an action movie. Chairs flying, fists swinging, screams echoing through the corridors of a cruise ship bound for paradise. Over 20 African-American passengers were involved in a viral brawl aboard a Carnival cruise in April 2025. The videos hit TikTok and Instagram like a tidal wave, generating millions of views. But even more disturbing than the violence were the comments flooding in. This is what happens when you turn a cruise ship into Section 8 housing. EBT cruises. Carnival is the Walmart of the seas. It was mockery, racism, and classism all wrapped in a sickening package. But also, there was a warning. Carnival Cruise Line, once hailed as the gateway for middle-class families to enjoy luxury travel, has spiraled into a symbol of budget chaos, viral brawls, and corporate apathy. And now the brand is synonymous not with fun, but with failure. So what happened? Why is Carnival in crisis? And more importantly, is this a Carnival problem, or is this the cruise industry's own version of Spirit Airlines? Scope News went deep. And what we found is more than a PR nightmare. It's a mirror reflecting the tension between accessibility and control, class and race, and what happens when companies sell freedom but refuse to manage what comes with it. The death of glamour, from the Love Boat to Fight Night. Cruising used to be associated with elegance. Think gowns at dinner, formal nights, and tuxedo-clad stewards pouring champagne. Carnival shattered that image on purpose. In the 1980s and 1990s, the brand built its identity as the fun ship, catering to younger working-class Americans who wanted a party at sea. At first it worked. Carnival became the top-selling cruise line in America. But then came the next phase of marketing madness, ultra-budget pricing. In the 2010s, Carnival began offering tickets at shockingly low prices, sometimes under $200 for a full 7-day cruise. They packed more cabins into ships, cut luxury perks, slashed staff, removed the class barriers, and opened the doors to anyone with a debit card and a dream. But when prices dropped, so did the filter. And with no real barrier to entry, Carnival began drawing crowds that, right or wrong, wouldn't have been welcome on cruises 20 years ago. Rowdy groups, social media clout chasers, people who viewed cruises not as an escape, but as an opportunity to act out without consequence. The line between celebration and chaos blurred. Is this just like Spirit Airlines? Yes and no. If this all sounds familiar, that's because it is. Spirit Airlines, notorious for its rock-bottom prices, has faced the same criticisms for over a decade. From passenger fights to mid-flight tantrums to viral videos of people being dragged off planes, Spirit has earned a reputation as a flying bus. And just like Carnival, the cheap price tag has been used to stereotype its passengers as poor, ratchet, low class, and, let's be honest, black and brown. But here's the question. Does affordability cause bad behavior? Or do we just associate bad behavior with poor people? Sociologists have wrestled with this for years. On one hand, there's data showing that environments with fewer behavioral boundaries, lower staff presence, and lax rules often see more disruptions. When people don't feel watched, or when they feel like nobody's really in charge, they act out. But on the other hand, this narrative dangerously oversimplifies a much bigger issue. It's not the price tag causing the chaos, it's the culture of the company. When Carnival and Spirit slashed their prices, they didn't increase staff. They didn't improve onboard security. They didn't invest in crowd control or guest education. They cut and cut and cut and expected things to remain civil. That's a corporate failure, not a community flaw. The truth? Wealthy people fight too. Rich people get drunk, loud, and violent. But when it happens at a Four Seasons or a private yacht club, it's handled quietly. There's a private settlement, no viral footage, no TikTok meltdown. When poor or working-class people behave badly, it's filmed, shared, shamed, and labeled as a cultural issue. Blackness, poverty, and the backlash that tells a deeper story. The most viral part of the Carnival brawl wasn't the fight, it was the reaction. The term EBT cruise became a trending slur overnight. People didn't just criticize the violence, They made it clear who they thought was to blame. Poor black people. But let's rewind. There are spring break cruises filled with drunk white college students doing keg stands on deck. There are white bachelor parties throwing chairs and being banned from ships. But they aren't branded as the Walmart of the seas, they're just having a good time. When fights break out on Carnival and involve mostly black passengers, suddenly it's a societal failure. Suddenly it's the hood. Suddenly it's a crisis. This is not a defense of bad behavior, but it is a call to look deeper at how Carnival's marketing strategy, combined with America's racial and class anxieties, created the perfect storm. Carnival wanted to be for the people, but they didn't protect the people. They didn't regulate the vibe. And now, they're reaping what they sowed. The crew is tired. The customers are wild. The brand is breaking. Scope News has spoken with multiple former Carnival employees who described working on board as warfare. Some quit after a single voyage. One former bartender said, "By 10 a.m. we had guests slurring their words, cursing at staff, screaming at each other, and management told us to smile." Another said, "It's like we were watching a live social experiment. No one was in control." Even longtime cruise enthusiasts are turning away from Carnival. On Reddit and Facebook, cruise groups are filled with horror stories, urine in the elevators, drugs in plain sight, and fights over who gets a better seat at karaoke night. And yet Carnival keeps sailing. Because it's profitable. Because controversy gets clicks. Because fun ship chaos sells better than old-fashioned elegance ever could. So, is this the end? Probably not. But this is a turning point. Carnival is staring down the barrel of a major image crisis. And if it doesn't start policing its culture, enforcing standards, and reconsidering its approach to cheap equals fun, then it will solidify its place in the public's mind as nothing more than a floating Greyhound bus with cocktails. The conversation isn't really about Carnival. It's about what happens when a company markets exclusively to everybody and refuses to take responsibility when everybody doesn't get along. It's about the myth that only poor people fight, when in reality, it's the absence of boundaries and leadership that leads to collapse. And most chilling of all, it's about how black joy, especially when it's loud, imperfect, or messy, is always seen as threatening. Carnival may sail on, but its legacy is changing, fast. And what's happening on those decks isn't just about drinks and dances. It's about dignity, about perception, and about how fast a brand can fall when it decides to trade respect for revenue. This is Scope News, and we'll keep watching. Legal disclaimer. This investigative report is intended for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Some content may be sensitive, controversial, or triggering. Scope News encourages critical thinking, respectful dialogue, and a deeper understanding of how race, class, and marketing collide in modern America.